Hi there, welcome to the Spectacular Engineering, where ideas meet skills. So today we are tackling a classic workshop essential, the bench vise. So using the power of Solidworks, we will design a vise that is not just strong, but also smart. So get ready to learn how to model and assemble a bench vise. So what are we gonna do now? We're gonna create our first part. So we're gonna name this part base plate. So we're gonna create our first part by creating a sketch on the top plane. So we're gonna make our sketch to be 150mm by around 50mm. And then we're gonna extrude that. So our target today is to use sheet metaling. So instead of having to extrude the base, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to sheet metal and select base flange. So you can also come to insert, and then that's where you'll find your sheet metal properties or features. So we're gonna create a base flange and make the thickness to be 10mm. On the top plane, we're gonna right click the top plane and then sketch the top plane. So what we wanna do now, we're gonna create holes, mounting holes for different components. So first we're gonna create sketch lines so that we can have reference lines and mirror sketches instead of having to recreate sketches. So we're gonna have a hole there, and we're also gonna have a hole there. We're also gonna have a hole there. So now it's time to dimension that. Let's make our first hole to be 16mm, and then from the center to our first hole, that's gonna be 55mm, and then from there from that hole to the bottom, we're gonna make that to be 75mm, basically at the center of our sketch. So now we're gonna position that one, so that's gonna be 8mm, and from the center that's gonna be 26, and from the bottom let's make it to be 50. Now we're left with the final hole. So this sketch, let's make it 5mm, and from the center let's make it 7, and from the bottom there we're gonna make that to be 75 as well. So now that we have our sketches, what we're gonna do, we're gonna mirror some of these sketches. So we're gonna mirror this one, that one, about the vertical line, and gonna mirror this one with the vertical line as well, and we're also gonna mirror this one, that one, about the horizontal line. And then we're gonna extrude cut to our metal through all, and then we have our base plate. So that is saved. So next we're gonna create our side plate, which goes with the base plate. So I'm gonna create a new part, right click the right plane, sketch. So I'm gonna make that to be 100 millimeter, and that to be 52 millimeter. So now, instead of having to extrude cut the holes, we're just simply gonna create the holes within this initial sketch. So we have that at 25 millimeter off, and that at 50, and that should be 5. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add relations between the two circles. So you hold Control, click, right click, the center of your hose, and then create horizontal relations. And then hold Control, right click, and then create equal relation. So you're just gonna dimension one and automatically dimension all these cycle sketches. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create the base flange using that. There we have our other part. So we're gonna just name this one servers base site base plate. So we're gonna create another part. So right click on the top plane, and then create a sketch. So we're gonna make that one to be 32, and that one to be 67 millimeter. So we're gonna have holes. So you can just hold Control, okay. So what we're gonna do, just wanna mark those two, hold Control and drag, and then make them equal. And you're gonna make that to be 67, So let's change the initial one to 100. Hold control, right click the center, right click the center, and make that horizontal. So that will be 40 millimeter off, and the distance between will also be 40 millimeter. Then create the base flange. And then we save as base top plate. So gonna create a new part. Right click. Let's make that to be 35 and that should be 28. So we're gonna create a hole at the center. So what you can do to locate that, you can create a construction line at the center. So basically when you drag your mouse at any sketch, a center point should occur. So we're gonna adjust the machine there to be 20. And from the center to the bottom, make that to be 20. And we'll create our base flange, 10 millimeter thickness. So just gonna create some holes at the bottom. So what we're gonna do, right click the bottom and create sketch so that we are able to sketch on that plane. So we're gonna create a construction line. And make that to be 5 millimeter. So from there to there, that's gonna be 7, and you can just simply mirror this. And extrude cut. Select the blind extrude cut. So we're gonna make that to be 12 millimeter tip. And then we save that as a support. Screw rod support plate. So we're gonna close that, create another new part, In the top plane, gonna create a sketch. Gonna make that to be 150 millimeter, and then go to and exit the sketch. We're gonna use structural members, then select that. Gonna select an angle 40 by 50, by 40 by 5 millimeter thickness, and then right click. We have something like this. So we're just gonna create some holes. So what we're gonna do, right click, sketch, and gonna sketch, create the mirror line or center line. Make that to be 68. Okay. You're gonna delete it. Make that to be 37.5. Create. So we wanna make sure that it's at the center, so you can hold Control, right click, and right click the sketch and select coincident. Click OK. So you can simply mirror this about that line. And gonna extrude cut through all. And we're gonna create another mounting holes. So right click there, normal to sketch, instruction lines at the center, so we're gonna make that to be 5 millimeter, and just 8 millimeter off. $70 millimeter. So simply gonna mirror that about that line, and then extrude cut through all. Then we have all our mounting holes for this plate. So we're gonna name this plate and jaw plate. So we're gonna name this plate jaw. Okay, jaw plate. So on my side, We just gonna name it like that. So you're gonna create another plate. Right click. Let's make that to be 150 and that to be 40. So I'm gonna create instruction lines, the center. So if you drag your mouse there, you'll be able to pick out the center point. So we're gonna create a circle there and then dimension that to 8 millimeter. So from the center, I'm gonna make that to be 37.5. And then I'm gonna mirror that about the vertical line. And then select base flange. So you're gonna name that your plate group. So yeah, we're gonna create another part and we're gonna name that screw rod. So on our top plate, top plane, on our front plane, I'm gonna create a circle, then dimension there to 12 and extrude. Change the direction of extrude. Extrude 200 millimeter. So we're gonna click the right plane and then select normal 2 and sketch. So we're just gonna sketch at the center. So if you drag from that center point, you'll be able to see the center line. And then create a circular sketch. Gonna make that to be 8 millimeter, and from the edge, gonna make that to be 8 millimeter as well. So we're gonna extrude cut. So if we check our extrude cut, it's only going one direction. So you can select extrude cut through all both. So it's gonna go this side and the other side because our sketch was in the center. So now we're gonna create threads. So you can simply search there and then right click on one end. So we're just gonna make our thread to be 230. Well, then reserve. So if you check the thread that we have here, it's not making sure or proper inserted. The thread that we have here, it's not proper. So what we're gonna do, gonna come back there, edit, and create an offset that by 2mm. So you need to choose the direction of your offset. See the difference? So it's offsetting to start from there, but I want it to start at least from somewhere there, so that we don't have a problem with the thread. Now we have a better thread. So I'm gonna save that, create a new part, front plane, sketch. You're gonna make that to be 8mm, and then extrude, change direction to 10. So we're gonna create a thread. So to create a thread, you come to whole wizard and then select thread. Click OK. And then we're gonna make our thread to be 17 and offset. So we're gonna have to add that offset to account for the offset. We're gonna have to add that 2mm to the size or to the length of the thread. Right click, gonna create another thread. So if you click here, you'll see that this is your 70mm thread, but then the moment you create an offset, you no longer have that 17 within your rod. So that's why you need to account for that offset. So we have a nice looking thread, and that can go through in there. So we're gonna save that as a handle. So gonna create another new part. On our right plane. Make that to be 50mm. And 40mm. So gonna create a center line. Position that 33. Position that at 40. So that's not looking good. Let's make it 17. And then mirror this about that about this line. So we're gonna create a base flange, make the thickness to be 12 millimeter this time around. And then I'm gonna save that as a geo plate, geo support plate. So we're gonna create another part. Make that to be 35 millimeter and 28 millimeter thick. So we're gonna create center construction line, then make that to be 12 and D. So make the thickness to be 10. So at the bottom, I create a sketch. And I'm gonna make that to be 5 millimeter and mirror that. and create an extrude cut. Let's make that to be a blunt extrude cut. Make it 12mm deep. And we're gonna create our last part for our assembly. Just gonna create a sketch, make that to be 350. Exit the sketch and create the structural member. Select the square tube 40 by 40 4mm thick. So from the bottom, you can create a sketch. Simply create a sketch. And there to be 30. And there to be 30. And that to be 50. And we're going to trim off that and create another sketch. So now we're gonna extrude cut. So we're gonna create a sketch. So we're gonna make that one to be 5mm and 6mm from the center. And 7.5 from the edge, and we're simply gonna mirror that and create an extrude cut through right click. And now we have our slider. We're going to create an assembly for the bench vise. So we're going to start from the base plate and then create an assembly from parts. So we're gonna insert the other parts. We need the side base plate. Copy that and paste. So Control C and Control V, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna insert the base top plate. There we go. So we're gonna use advanced mate to position these. So I've also realized that we didn't make holes for these plates at the bottom, so that shouldn't be much of a problem at this point. What we can simply do, we can position this at the center. So we're gonna select one side of that and one side of that. Select the width mate, select that side, select that side, and then gonna select width, select, then what we're gonna do now, gonna mate this to this using a standard coincident mate, and then mate this to this. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna mate this side to this side, and this side to this side, and then gonna mate this to this side. So we actually want this one to be positioned like that. So we're just gonna simply mate that to that, and then mate this and this. So we can also try and edit and create the holes for this plate. You can just right click, edit part. First let's save our assembly. Let's just call it an assembly. So right click and then normal to, and then sketch. So we want to make sure that no references or no external references are being used. So sketch and then sketch, and it. So we're just gonna simply create an extrude cut, make it blind and leave it to 10. Let's make it 12. So to create holes, this side simply gonna create sketch, and then from here to the feature and so we wanna see the sketches that we made. We created a card, so this is the card extrude on the other side. We want to click the sketch for the card extrude and then convert to entities, and it will convert those entities on the plane that we decided to sketch on. And then now we're gonna extrude cut. And then we now have our holes. So you can simply delete these mates and use concentric mates. And you also need holes at the bottom. So what we can simply do, we can make these to normal 2 and then right click that, edit part, and then sketch. So what we're gonna do, gonna drop our sketch there, sketch. Sketch. And we're gonna do an extrude cut. Let's make it to be 20. And now we have all the mating holes that we need. Then let's save that. So we actually need a plate that goes in here. So that will be the support jaw blade, not that one. So that's the one that we need, the support plate. So we're just simply gonna make this and that be coincident, and then make that be concentric. And then I'm gonna come at the bottom and select that and that to be concentric. And now we have our base. Don't forget to save as you go along. So now we're gonna insert our slide. So we need to rotate that about the y-axis. Just click on the y-axis and you wanna make sure that your holes, these holes are positioned at this side. So what we're gonna do now is simply gonna make this one and this to be coincident, and then we'll use an advanced mate to position this one at the center of the base. And now you see it moves like that. Rebuild and save your document or your assembly. So now we're gonna insert our jaw plate. Okay, so we're gonna insert our jaw plate. So rotate that, right click and then mate, concentric. So you see this still good, so you need to mate the other part as well. Now it can rotate, but want this face and this face to be coincident, and there we go. You can hide those sketches. So we're simply gonna insert our jaw plate grip, rotate that by the y-axis, simply made these holes. So we're gonna make sure that all those holes are mated, and you wanna make that to be coincident to that. And now we're gonna insert our support, show support plate, this one. Then we're gonna rotate it about z-axis, and we're simply gonna make that to that. We're supposed to have holes there, but doesn't make or create holes for that, but we'll use that as a learning curve. So make that to that, and make this face to that face. So what we can simply do, we can create holes on this one. So you can edit, then right click the top face, and then sketch your cycles holes. So those are supposed to be equal. So you can simply dimension that to 5, and then extrude cut. Let's make extrude cut be 6 mm. Then exit our editing. Now we have those holes. So here on top of the support plate, we have a similar assembly like that. So instead of having to insert and mate, what we can simply do, can just hold Control, right click, and then copy, right click anywhere and paste. So then you can right click, drag that, and then move those components. So come here, rotate component about delta x, y, z. So you want to rotate about y, and then 180, and then we have our components rotated. You can simply drag those ones, and then mate. And mate. Save everything. Now we have something to show. So the next part will be inserting the screw rod. So we're gonna drag, drop that. So what we wanna do, before we insert that, we need a part here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look for that part. So we're gonna insert a new component, our save assembly, to our main assembly, and make that. So we're just gonna simply make that to that, and that to that, and gonna make that to that. So we also can, that is made it currently. Oh, this one is still moving, probably because we didn't make this face and that face. So now we're simply gonna add our screw rod and the handle. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look for our screw rod, and then we're gonna have that. and we're gonna insert our handle. So we're gonna rotate it about the y-axis, and we wanna mate these two together, and then use an advanced mate to make sure that this is always at the center of the rod. So go there, advanced mate with, select the other face, and then select the screw rod. And what you can see now is that now they can move together. So we want to create a screw mate between these and this part. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna make sure that this rod is concentric. So just using a standard mate, you're gonna make sure that our mate selection is the face and it's concentric to this part. And then now we're gonna create a mechanical mate. So we're gonna make that to be 5 millimeter. Then we're gonna select our rod and it's gonna screw around this face. So there will be 5. Then we're gonna check our direction, reverse our direction. So now when we pull this, you see what happens, and you can check how far it goes. You need it to be limited or to go up to that point. So what we need to do, you need to create another mate and make sure that the rod doesn't come out from this plate. So you're gonna mate that. So we're gonna create an selected mating distance 10 millimeter. So you can always flip that according to where your face is positioned in relative to the other face. But mine, I think, was positioned in the right position. And then we're done with that mate. So now we want to create an advanced mate between this face and this face. So this is the maximum point. These faces should be apart. So what we need to do, you need to select there, and then so these faces need to be at a distance, total distance 104, 114. And then we're gonna select the maximum value, which is 114. So it's maximum value apart and minimum value apart. So we're just gonna make that to be 2 millimeter. So now you'll see that when you bring your parts, it no longer goes beyond there. It's restricted and it no longer goes far beyond that. So if we just suppress that, you'll see the difference. So you see the difference. So that mate is very important. So unsuppress that mate, and now we have that. So now you can see that we are able to use our handling. So you can also just reduce the speed of how it rotates. Let's check 1 millimeter per revolution. Okay. Okay, it's not moving as it's supposed to be. It's moving but very slowly, so let's leave the 5 millimeter distance per revolution. And let's also change the direction as well. So you can always change the direction depending on the thread's direction that you used. So the idea is that obviously we'll have this part to. So now we can add the bolts and nuts. I see it's quite not easy to rotate it here, but let's leave that for another day. So now we can add the bolts and nuts. So simply gonna use toolbox bolts and nuts. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna go to our toolbox and use international standards, and we're gonna select our bolts, nuts. We're gonna use just hexagon nut. So what you wanna do, you wanna right click there and then drag and drop that to size itself. So you can always change the type of nut that you choose by coming there, select. So you can always change, come there, select, and we're using M8. So as I said, you can always change your nut, but we're just gonna stick to simple hexagon nut. So we are using hexagon nut grade C, ISO 430 4034. And now click OK, select there, select, position there. And then now what we can do, can mate this nut to that nut, and then mate this face to that face, and can mate that nut to that nut, and that face to that face. And now we have our full assembly. That is our full assembly.